Apply a section of heated wax to the anterior portion of the base plate. Lute in place with a hot instrument. Place the central incisor adjacent to the midline. Adjust its position so that it follows the same contour of the bite rim. Close the articulator and position the incisal edge of the central to the flat setup table. Next, soften the wax with a heated instrument and place the lateral incisor following the curve of the bite rim. Close the articulator and elevate the lateral 1 mm above the setup template and straighten its axis. Proceed to the cuspid. Again, close the articulator and position the incisal edge in harmony with the arch form outline on the template. The cuspid should make contact to the template. Rotate the cuspid so the incisal edge runs parallel to the crest of the ridge. To ensure a proper transition to the posterior teeth, identify the incisal edge of the cuspid with a pencil. Twist the tooth until the line matches the line on the crest of the ridge. You can also use a setup ruler to check the position. Soften the wax and place the first bicuspid in line with the distal edge of the cuspid. Also, verify that the central fossa of the premolar lines up with the crest of the ridge using the line that has been extended to the land area. Close the articulator to verify contact to the template and straighten the long axis. Lute the teeth in place and move on to the opposite side. Start by removing a portion of the maxillary bite rim. Next, heat up a sheet of setup wax until it is pliable. Remove a strip and apply evenly to the anterior portion of the base plate. Once in place, lute the wax to the base plate with a hot instrument. Place the central in line with the other central and slowly close the articulator to ensure contact to the template and correct alignment with the template outline. Place the lateral into the wax and again, raise it off the template slightly. Next, place the remaining cuspid Note that the cuspid needs to be rotated because the incisal edge does not align with the crest of the ridge mark. Therefore, it will be rotated until it is in harmony with the crest of the ridge. Next, set the first bicuspid in place, making sure it contacts the template and its long axis is straight up and down. Note that if the teeth have been properly set up, the mesial of the first bicuspid will be slightly forward of the distal of the cuspid. Remove the flat setup table and reattach the mandibular cast. Remove a section of the bite rim starting at the midline. Replace with a fold of heated wax and lute to the base plate. Mark the wax rim between the cuspid and the first bicuspid. Heat this area with a hot instrument and set the mandibular first bicuspid. Position the cusp of the premolar to contact the mesial central fossa of the maxillary first bicuspid. Next, set the cuspid. Check in lateral excursion, and if the cuspid interferes with the maxillary cuspid, reposition it until it clears. Remove the remaining wax rim on the opposite side and replace with a fold of heated wax. Again, position the cusp of the first bicuspid to contact the mesial central fossa of the maxillary bicuspid. Set the canine so the incisal edge is in line with the central fossa. check for clearance in lateral excursions, and adjust if necessary. To assist in the posterior setup, a 2D template is used. Remove the upper cast and attach the instrument carrier. Slide the 2D template into the instrument carrier and secure temporarily by tightening the side screw. By loosening the center screw, the template is able to move backward and forward. Position the template to lie over the distal of the cuspid. The template is raised or lowered by loosening the side screw. Lower the template to contact the cusps of the first bicuspid. Check the alignment of the posterior section of the template with the line on the land area of the cast adjacent to the retromolar pad. Soften the wax and place the second bicuspid. Align the fossa of the second bicuspid over the crest of the ridge, following the line from the central fossa of the first bicuspid to the line on the land area of the cast. Close the articulator to ensure that the cusp tips make contact to the template. Next, place the first molar over the crest of the ridge, checking the buccal lingual alignment. Close the articulator and align the molar to the template. Soften the wax and place the second molar, again checking the buccal lingual alignment and the contact to the template. Check the occlusal contacts to the template and the buccal lingual positions of the teeth and adjust if necessary. Remove the 2D template and replace with maxillary cast. Remove the remaining wax on the bite rim and replace with a fold of heated wax. Place the second bicuspid in alignment with the first bicuspid. Close the articulator and straighten the axis. In excursions, the maxillary first bicuspid lingual cusp should make contact to the mandibular lingual cusp. In working side excursion and on the balancing side, it should make contact to the mandibular buccal cusp. Set the second bicuspid on the opposite side. Continue to place the remaining maxillary posterior teeth. Proceed to the mandibular anterior setup. Set the lateral at the same height as the cuspid. Next, set the central according to the midline. You can slightly twist the central or lateral to add character. Once the setup is complete, check for interferences in lateral excursion. The Ivoclar system is a precision denture injection system. The following procedure will demonstrate how to flask and process a denture, as well as custom tinting. Isolate the cast using water glass or plaster stone separator. Do not use Vaseline because it leaves a thick layer. Stand up the cast and let it dry. The two halves of the flasks are similar. The upper half is identified by having a positive projection in the front of the flask, and the lower has a recess. Each flask also has a high-strength nylon cap that not only contains the stone but acts as an insulator, which helps to regulate heat penetration into the flask during processing. Both flasks also have plastic shoulders that also act to help regulate the penetration of heat. At the back of the flask is an injection tube that will house the injection funnel, where the mixed acrylic cartridge flows through. The tube insulates the injection funnel from heat, so that the acrylic can stay